It's Week 6 of the National Football League, and it's brought to you by EA Sports. It's the Browns and the Eagles coming up next.
Just north of the Delaware Expressway and east of Broad Street, we find ourselves at Lincoln Financial Field in South Philly. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And Charles, you look at this Eagles team as they interplay here. They come in with some fresh legs as they got the week off last week thanks to the early season bye.
And usually you hope your bye comes a little bit later in the year. But when you get a chance to get fresh legs back, you take that time and you run with it.
Meanwhile, for the Browns here, they too were losers last week, so they're also hoping to get back in the win column.
Something's got to give in this one, right?
Set to go now in Week 6 of the NFL season, and we are underway on EA Sports. A solid return, pretty good field position. They'll start at the 32. Out come the Eagles for the first time, and the man in charge at quarterback in his 5th year now, Jalen Hurts.
And coming off of an early season open week. And in this situation, what he told us when we sat down with him was he spent a lot of time working on fundamentals, kind of getting back to basics during that time, as opposed to having to worry about healing up or resting up. It was too early in the season. Get back to the basics, get his game going again.
And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. 11 yards there on the first play from scrimmage. Well, there you go. This offense off to a strong start this afternoon.
Yeah, with a big run and a first down. That's putting what you practice into play. That's excellent execution to get things started.
And he'll take this ahead for about 4. Second down coming up. From the 46-yard line, a second down and 6. Again, it's Barkley. And he'll work it across midfield inside the 45. Now, whistles and a stoppage here. Looks like one of the Eagles is in some discomfort out there. Well, hopefully, obviously, nothing serious here. Medical staff, though, going to take a peek, and we'll take a break. Throwing is Hurts. He's got his tight end. It's Albert Okwuegbunam. That'll go for a gain of 7, and that's going to bring up second down. The Eagles at 1-3 here in the early part of the year, and they come in with fresh legs. They got the extra time off thanks to an early season open week.
And usually your hope is that your open week comes a little bit later in the year, but when you get a chance to get your fresh legs back, you have to take that time and run with it, and that's what they're trying to get done here.
A gain of 5, good enough for the first down.
That's good for another Eagles. First and 10 at the 31-yard line.
Hurts sets up to throw it. He finds him again, Saquon Barkley. And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8, second and 2. Well, it seems pretty clear on this opening drive that they want to get him involved, not only, Charles, in the run game, but in the pass game as well. And he can be such a weapon for them when they utilize him this way.
And, partner, you know I'm a veteran, right? In other words, that means a little bit older. Back in my day, we used to call a guy like this a workhorse, except he carried the ball all the time. Now they get it to him a variety of ways, but you're right. They want to run their offense through him.
Brown goes in motion left. Here's a fake on the jet sweep as he'll go instead with Barkley. And able to get him down, but he does reach the 5. 44 yards rushing for him here. What a start to the ball game. It's first and goal. Quite the opening drive march they're on right now.
It looks a lot like what we saw in practice prior to the game, doesn't it? You know, because on that last big practice beforehand, you go through your offensive script. You go through your play calling. You go through all the stuff and establish things. And it looks like it's going like clockwork right now for them.
Hurts. Ooh, with a juke. He'll wind up getting right about 4 there on the scramble, and it's second down.
And that's an early scramble that can be viewed positively by either side. From the offensive point of view, it begins to establish him as a possibility to keep it on certain plays. And defensively, they avoided giving up a huge play in one of their first tests.
And he's in for an Eagles touchdown. Jalen Hurts, his second touchdown on the season. And the Eagles are on the board first here this afternoon. The touchdown giving them the first quarter lead. Remember, they lost a rough game 2 weeks ago. Then they had to sit through the open week, but a good start here.
And just think about everyone around them, everyone around the organization. When you lose headed into that open week, everyone's cringing because you don't have a chance to get on the horse and ride it again for at least 2 weeks. Well, they were able to take that time, use it constructively, and now they're back in form.
Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line. So here are the Browns under head coach Kevin Stefanski. Orchestrating the offense will be a man who, of course, won a national title back in his days at Clemson, Deshaun Watson.
He had the numbers of a game last week that if you win, you talk about him being a gritty guy, managing the game, getting it done. But they lost. So obviously 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown pass, that's not going to be good enough. Got to get that changed around.
Now a quick throw there, but it's going to be incomplete. That time he was looking for Jerry Jeudy, and that'll bring up second down. You look at this Eagle defense. We know they're going to be tough to throw on. Top 3 in the NFL defending the pass.
And I'm struggling a little bit trying to really categorize this crew. They're top 10 in the league against the pass, but the bottom half of the league in sacking the quarterback. That doesn't make sense. Imagine if this group ever put pressure on the QB, they'd easily move into the top 5.
He's going to drop this one down for Chubb, and he will get him down a couple yards shy of the first down marker. A nice tackle coming up from his free safety spot. It's a gain of 6, but not enough, as he'll be forced to punt on their first drive of the game. On 4th down, Corey Bojorquez gets set to punt for Cleveland. Britton Covey deep for Philadelphia. And no one there to stop it. Hits at the 8, but it carries all the way into the end zone for a touchback. So back onto the field here come the Eagles for their second drive. Coming off every player's friend, the open week from last weekend.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. Even if you're coming off of a loss as they did, the open week is exactly what you need after you kind of get over it a little bit, right? Rest up the mind, rest up the body, get yourself ready to go. And they have to be eager to play again, especially since they lost the last time out.
Now contact up front as penalty markers come in. Who is this against? So step off the 5 yards.
Yeah, partner, you know, defensive end, he wants to get into the offensive backfield. He wants that get off to be as fast as possible. A little too quick on that one.
Throwing from the gun, it's Hurts. Oh, he'll want that one back. Incomplete. He doesn't drop too many in that department. 3rd down. We'll see what they have drawn up here. A little bit behind the line. 12 yards needed to gain a first down. And they work this well upfield across the 45. Big yardage there on the scramble. It gets him a first down.
He's a talented runner, and that means he's always looking for bigger and bigger gains when he takes off. Certainly found some bonus yards there beyond the first down marker, and this early drive will continue with that extra jolt from his legs.
Here's Hurts to throw. And he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down. It'll be a loss of 7 on the sack, and it brings up second.
Brings up 2nd and 17 at the 41-yard line.
Another try after the first down sack. Hurts. Under pressure, they got him again. A loss of 3 on the sack made by multiple defenders.
Are you seeing what I'm seeing? That's 3 sacks now, and this team came into the game in the bottom 5 in the league in sacks.
Yeah,
What's going on?
It's not been their bread and butter. I don't know. Is a blind squirrel finding a nut, or is this something they can build on?
Well, they found some momentum. They found a crack in that offensive line, and they're putting it to good use.
And that is incomplete. And that one broken up by Martin Emerson.
As a corner, you have to be able to run with guys step for step downfield in man coverage and make up ground quickly in zone. You have to put yourself in position to make plays, just like that one we saw there.
On is the punter man as he boots this one away. Fielded just inside the 20.
Return team.
That flag accepted, and it backs the offense up a little bit. Faking the give. Now Watson. And he's going to be brought down. Back at his own 6-yard line. Multiple players combined for their team's first sack of the game. Let's see here, Charles. He was sacked 6 times last week. Now a first-quarter sack. What's going on in his mind?
Well, he's thinking to himself, 5 offensive linemen. I got sacked 6 times last week. Let's start thinking about keeping extra people in. Tight end stays in. If I have a fullback or the running back, they stay in and help me block. Maybe not as many receivers in a pattern. Anything to try and slow down that pass rush.
A first carry now for Nick Chubb. And he's able to break out of 1 tackle, but then quickly brought down. That'll get a little bit back, give him 5 on the run, and they'll be left with a 3rd and 13. Back to throw, Watson. And tight coverage there. It's knocked away, incomplete.
Looks like a second empty possession to start the game, and certainly not the way you want to start when you come in off of a loss last week. Every team talks about starting fast. They're hoping on their next possession, it can be a delayed fast start and get them going.
A 47-yard punt, maybe a couple on the return. And the Eagles will have it, taking over 1st and 10. And they'll begin by running the option. And he'll take this one up close to about the 45. Now we'll get a stoppage here as it appears we've got an Eagle slow to get up. So as the medical staff takes a look, we'll step aside. Ball spotted at the 45. Here's 2nd down and 7. Hurts going to keep it again. Good cover defensively as they get to him just beyond the 45 after the juke. Only a yard there on the keeper, and that's going to leave him with a 3rd down. They'll set up to throw. Steps away to his left. Able to slither by. And he will have the 1st down as he gets this to the 47. It's a pickup of 6 and good enough to move the chains. With nowhere to throw it, decided to scramble, and a nice job, CD. Got the yardage that he needed.
Yeah, and his teammates are certainly going to appreciate that effort, even if his coaches don't, because they would have wanted him to slide and protect himself. But he chose team gain over personal protection.
Just a yard on the 1st down carry, so it's 2nd and 9. You look at this Browns defense. They're a unit that enters play way down, number 28 in the NFL right now against the run.
And this group talks all the time about wanting to be better, getting stronger against the run. And to me, it all starts up front. You've got to win the line.
Oh, and Hurts is going to be hit and taken down to the ground. They push him back 8 yards that time on 2nd down. So after that sack, Hurts and the Eagles, tough spot here, 3rd and long. Back to throw here. And the pressure gets to him again. He couldn't get away there on 3rd down. The pressure too much, and he's sacked for a loss of 12. On 4th down, punt coming from Braden Mann. A 40-yard punt, give him 3 on the return, and the Browns will take over 1st and 10. The Browns offense and their star running back Nick Chubb getting set to take over once more. And he has been a monster in the red zone here in these first couple of months of the season. In fact, he leads the NFL in rushing touchdowns. They start on the ground with Nick Chubb. A short gain here, maybe a yard to the 29.
Whenever we talk about the best strong safeties, one word constantly comes up, and that's instincts. Being able to diagnose run or pass and make the appropriate moves.
He crashed down hard there. He was ready for that running play. And down he goes, but he takes it up to the 40. Second catch for him today, and it'll wind up a 1st down. Now we'll play fake, and it's Watson. And he can't quite bring it in. Might have heard footsteps there across the middle. 2nd down.
Brings up 2nd and 10 at the 40-yard line.
From the gun, it's a give to Chubb. They get 6. That'll leave them with 3rd and 4. After 1, 7-0 on EA Sports. The start of the second quarter, and it's the Browns in control of the football. 3rd and 4. As they've got it as we resume action. Now Watson. Eagle pressure, too much this time. Down he goes. Josh Sweat rushing in and bringing him down to the ground.
Well, how about that? A dime set on defense, 6 defensive backs. None of them blitz. They're just back there in coverage. Defensive lineman gets the sack.
That's where the O-line, they go to the sideline, they keep their helmets on so the cameras can't find them, right?
Yeah, the cameras can't find them, but I know one thing. The O-line coach will.
On 4th down, on is Corey Bojorquez to punt. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. A 46-yard punt, 4-yard return. And it will be Eagles football, 1st and 10. The offense takes the field, and we turn our attention to Saquon Barkley. He's over 40 yards here in the second quarter. Been nice and effective for them, hasn't he?
He has definitely been dependable, and really shouldn't underestimate what he's getting done here, because anytime you're on a pace that's going to approach 100 yards, you've really done some damage in an NFL game.
And now he's looking just to add to his totals. 36 yards on the play.
And the offense is saying to itself right now, if only they were all this easy, because he was wide open. And once he made the catch, plenty of room to work his way downfield. That was a breakdown on the defensive side of the ball, one that they want to fix immediately.
And now whistles and a flag, and I think we got a jump here.
Encroachment defense.
And that'll be a free 5 yards for the offense.
Just like a tennis match, that's just an unforced error. Stay alert, don't jump early, and give them free yardage.
So a 1st and 5 now after the 5-yard penalty from the neutral zone infraction. They'll bring a receiver in motion right. From the gun, it's Hurts. Open man, that's Devontae Smith. It's a 7-yard gain and good enough to move the chains. So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. He'll drop to throw. This short throw caught by Goddard. Short completion, just 4 yards, and it's 2nd down.
They gave up the completion there, but this is what zone defenses count on. Catching the ball and not much run after the catch.
A handoff to Barkley on the option. And a strong run there as he'll maneuver his way down inside the 15. 60 yards rushing for him as he has been tough to stop here this first half. So a solid run by Saquon Barkley and another 1st and 10 here. They'll look to throw here. And this one nearly picked off. Kind of surprising to see a defender of his caliber let it get away, but get away it does, and it's 2nd down. He'll look to throw. That's to the right sideline, and it falls incomplete.
So many times we've seen him try to escape the pocket and do something with his legs, but in this case, the pressure was too intense, and he made the wise choice to just get rid of the football and make sure no one was going to get it.
And he can't quite get there. Tackled down at the 1. Hurts dangerous when he runs that football. He's got a first.
That's good for another Eagles. First down and goal to go.
They'll try to run it in, going option right. And he probably should have given that one off, as he's going to get hit and taken down behind the line. It's a loss of 4 on the first down play. Back at the 5-yard line now, 2nd and goal. It'll be Hurts on the option. And holding it may be the wrong decision as he stopped in the backfield. It'll go down as a 2-yard loss, and it brings up a 3rd down.
3rd down and goal to go.
Out of the gun, they'll look to throw. Toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete. The Browns D locked in on 3rd down, brings up 4th.
Jake Elliott on for the field goal. A 23-yard attempt.
The kick by Elliott is good, and that will extend their lead even further. So that one on target, and it adds to this first half lead.
And maybe we're too early to worry too much about 1-score lead, 2-score lead, etc. But this is where you kind of start banking those points that come in helpful later on.
And makes it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. The Browns offense and their quarterback Deshaun Watson set to take over once more. And his ability to use his legs has given the defense fits when trying to game plan. He's currently 2nd in the NFL in rushing yards by a QB. Off of play action, it's Watson. And that's going to be incomplete.
Boy, that ball's just hanging up there waiting to be intercepted. That looked doomed from the start, but they took the deep shot anyway, and fortunately, it winds up incomplete.
To the right side and intercepted. Darius Slay with a pick. And he's going to return it to the 21-yard line. Certainly not his best throw that time, and not a good time to make it, Charles, when they were a nickel with 5 defensive backs on the field.
And that's exactly why you have those 5 DBs out there. You want extra speed on the field, guys who have ball skills and understand what the passing game can do, and gives them a chance to react and make a play on the football, and they take one of those away.
The offense takes the field, and we turn our attention to Saquon Barkley. And he's well on his way to a 100-yard game. He's already more than halfway there. We're only in the 2nd quarter.
And what I've always loved about running backs is they'll tell you, I had no idea how many yards I had.
Right.
Those guys have an innate sense of where they are in a...
And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Philadelphia. Paris Campbell from 21 yards away. And the Eagles are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. And there they got him the ball. Just get it to him, let him do the rest.
You know, he probably said that to his quarterback as he broke the huddle. I like the play call. Just get it to me. I'll take care of the rest of it.
Helping out his rack, right? RAC?
Run after catch, and he loves that, and he's going to carry that in at contract time.
Elliott good on the extra point. And that makes our score 17-0. Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. And they will wrangle him down a couple yards shy of the 30. The Browns offense trotting back onto the field. And we don't want to call this desperation time, especially in the 2nd quarter, but you're
You don't
down.
want to.
No, but let me finish.
Okay, my bad.
You're down 3 scores already. You've done nothing offensively, nothing on the scoreboard. That's not a good combination.
I think you
Now
just
you
called
can
it.
go.
I think you just called it desperation time. I think
did.
you did. But
Yeah.
let's face it. You mentioned this to me in a break earlier in the game. The energy level hasn't been there right from the start. We've noticed that they've got to find a way to get on their toes and start punching instead of retreating, to use a boxing analogy.
Ball start.
They were looking good on second down, but now they're backed up 5 yards by the false start, and it's 2nd and 8. Here's Watson. And that'll be off the mark, too far out in front, and it's incomplete.
I think you put just a little bit too much heat on that one. When you throw it to the outside, you do have to be careful because you got to keep it away from the defender, but you also have to give your own guy a chance too.
And this is going to be incomplete. The passing game not in sync here early, and now it's 4th down.
I know this offense was expecting to do big things, but it certainly hasn't turned out that way, at least not through the first 3 drives. They're definitely going to have to put their heads together and start concocting some offense that'll move the ball downfield.
This is brought in at the 21. A 46-yard punt, 8 yards on the return. And out will come the offense as they take over. The offense takes the field, and we turn our attention to Saquon Barkley. He's been good. His guys are winning. So far, the recipe working here in the second quarter.
And he doesn't like to just tote the rock. He wants to carry his team on his back, and that's what he's done throughout this game.
Yeah, he's done that. He'll be hoping to continue that trend. He shook his head right when he released that throw. He knew it was going to be a little off target.
Yeah, the excitement got him on that one. Wasn't able to control the fact the receiver was open, and it would have been an easy throw.
And that is going to be incomplete as he let him a bit too much.
Well, they approached this drive with a lot of confidence after their last one ended up as a touchdown. But incompletions on their first 2 throws has them huddling up and trying to figure out a big play here on 3rd down to get their momentum going again.
And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes. Multiple defenders get to him there, and that is the 6th time he's been sacked in this ball game. Well, collectively as a defense, Charles, I think if you get 4 sacks a game, you're feeling really good. Now they have 6 as a unit.
And that type of a number, it's just staggering because there's so many ways to try and counteract it. But in this case, they've got no answers for this unrelenting pressure coming at their quarterback.
46 yards on the boot. The coverage holds him to just 3 on the return. And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over. Now it's Watson. He'll get this complete to Tillman. And he gets this up across the 35 before he's out of bounds. Well, hang on now. We're going to pause here. We've got an injured player. Well, now they're going to come out and take a look at this injury, and we'll be back in a moment. Here's Watson. And his throw is incomplete. So another incompletion there. He's hitting on fewer than half his pass attempts in this one, and that is not a winning formula.
Yeah, so let's make sure we give a little bit of credit to the defense here. They've given him a lot to think about, a lot of different looks, and he seems a little bit confused trying to complete passes.
And he is going to have a Browns 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. And he's top 5 in the league in terms of receiving yardage because of plays like that. What have you seen from him on film that you like so much?
Well, I'll strip away everything else and get to what we call the moment of truth. When the ball's arriving and there's a defender there, he just comes down with the ball. He competes and takes it away. Great hands, great ability to finish the catch.
And he's corralled, but not before getting it inside the 35. Another nice gain. That's now 30 yards between those last 2 plays. This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. Watson. Sheds off the tackle. And they'll get this one to about the 20-yard line. Now, whistles and a stoppage here. Looks like one of the Eagles is in some discomfort out there. While they come out and take a look at him, we will step aside for just a moment. A first red zone opportunity for the Browns thus far. 1st and 10 right at the 20. They give the Chubb out of the gun. Call it a gain of 4 on 1st, and that'll make it 2nd down.
Not a run that you're going to write home about, but still a good 1st down run. That's what an offense calls staying on schedule. 3 to 4 yards on 1st down, you're set up very well for the rest of the drive.
Touchdown, Browns! Nick Chubb, a 16-yard touchdown. And the Browns are able to cut into that deficit. Well, forget about the weapons out wide. He knows he's got another weapon in the backfield in the passing game, Charles, and he utilized him perfectly on that play.
And the offense coordinator showed me something on that play, Brandon, because so often during a game, our cameras find them looking down at their play sheets, and you wonder if they're absorbing anything. He had something specific in mind, and he went to it, and it worked well.
Extra point by York is up and good. And that'll cut the lead to 17-7. So that winds up a 7-play drive all told. And it's capped off by the Browns touchdown. And able to get this out to the 25. Here's the Philadelphia offensive unit now as they head out to take over possession. These guys definitely hoping for a better showing than their last appearance. They couldn't really even move the football much beyond the shadows of their own goalpost, Charles. We'll see if they can get a better, more sustained drive going here.
Yeah, and every team that we ever talk to says the exact same thing. When you start a drive from that deep in your own territory, the goal is a minimum of at least 2 first downs, because even if you have to punt then, you change the field position, right? You flip the field a little bit. They didn't get that done. This time they want to string together a nice drive and help themselves out.
On the throw, led him too much that time. It's incomplete.
Well, so far in this drive, they've done some good work. They force incompletions on 1st and 2nd down, bring up 3rd and 10. That brings up the big question. Do they bring pressure or do they play coverage on this down?
Pass taken in by his big tight end. And he'll have it past midfield almost to the 40 before being taken down. And chalk that one up as a gain of 34 on 3rd down.
This offense is looking very comfortable here in this first half. Very relaxed, very smooth, very efficient. No wasted motions. Things are definitely going their way, and they continue to move the ball downfield.
So a 1st and 10 upcoming from Browns territory now at the 41. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up. Now we'll get a stoppage here as it appears we've got an Eagle slow to get up. Well, the medical staff is going to come out here and take a look, and we will take a short break. From the 39, Hurts. And this one is going to be off the mark, too far out in front. Just a little beyond the reach there of his receiver. That's probably one he wishes he had back.
He wishes it had been 7-on-7 in practice, or maybe even routes versus air, because that's a completion he makes, 9.9 times out of 10? Just missed that one.
And this one complete to Smith. And he is going to have an Eagles first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
As an unbiased observer, I think it would have been interesting to see what they would have done if they hadn't gotten the first down there. But since they did, I guess the point is moot.
Yeah, they were right there in that middle ground, field goal range, punt, go for it. But as you said, they picked it up. And he's able to skip away from that first defender on his way to a pickup of 5. So from the 25, this is 2nd and 5. He'll look to throw, and that is incomplete here.
This defense can use some more of these types of plays. How about him reading it, driving on the football, and he's right there for the pass breakup.
They'll look to throw. Dancing to his left. And he gets it all the way down inside the 10 and mark him at the 5. Well, hold everything here because this is about the last guy that they would want to see shaken up. Quarterback Jalen Hurts in some discomfort. So another 3rd down conversion, and now they've got a 1st and goal. And now the first throw for the backup quarterback. And he'll take it into the end zone for an Eagles touchdown. A.J. Brown. His first touchdown on the year. And his guys now an extra point away from taking a 3-score lead. There was no going through the progressions on that touchdown pass.
Yeah, nor was it necessary. His receiver won that route early, presented himself. No reason to wait. Go ahead and put it on him and score a touchdown.
Elliott good with a PAT. And that'll make this a 3-score game now. The lead moves to 17. Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. And able to take it past the 25 and up to the 28-yard line. And the Browns getting set to go. As this offense comes back out here, Charles, they're trailing in this ball game, and they've been on the sideline for a while. They did score their last time out, but they just had to watch that long, sustained drive, so we'll see if they can shake the rust off.
Yeah, and that's always a question that you have when you have to come off the bench after having sat there for a long time. Are you ready to go? Are you loosened up? But even more so, are you mentally alert and ready to put your best product out there?
Bust through the tackle. And to the 36-yard line, taken down there after getting 8 yards.
Okay, he didn't break that one all the way, but you got to know that he feels like he's right on the verge, and that's probably exactly what he's telling them in the huddle right now.
False start.
And a manageable third down becomes a lot less manageable. 3rd and 7 after the false start. Watson off play action. That escapes the sack. Rolling to his left. But now he's swallowed up and taken down. And now timeout is whistled as it appears there's a Brown shaken up on the play. The medical staff will attend to him, and we will step aside. On 4th down on is Corey Bojorquez to punt. Averaging over 50 yards a punt so far as this one's away. 47 yards on the punt that time, just 1 yard on the return. And they will take over 1st and 10. Eagles offense and A.J. Brown headed back out there. He's doing what he's capable of, having a solid game. Not the most amazing game. He's not over 100 yards, but a good game so far.
And you just know that mentally, he feels like he's one catch away from turning it into a great game and starting on that road. And the defenders are well aware of that too. They've got to figure out a way to not let that escalate. Keep him right in this zone here and call it a day, because otherwise he can really decimate them.
Better believe they are well aware of his playmaking ability. Pickett. Firing quickly, but it's incomplete.
Tight end has become a bigger and bigger part of the passing game in the NFL, but if you drop the football, that position could get swapped out with a wide receiver in that spot, a running back in that spot. There are other ways they can go if you're not going to catch the ball.
And that's not just his first drop, his second drop of the game. And he is going to have an Eagles first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
But things are definitely going right for them here in the first half. Pick a down, any down, even 3rd down, no problem. They get a connection there and pick up a fresh set of downs, continuing to move the ball.
They'll throw again with Pickett. And the Browns pressure gets to him that time, and he's going to go down. It's J.O.K. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah in there for the sack. Sacks a growing theme in this first half. This is 2nd and long. Pass incomplete.
Well, partner, guaranteed they approach this play with the idea of making up ground to make 3rd down manageable. Unfortunately, with that incompletion, right back where they started on the last snap. Now they need a big 3rd down play in order to pick up the yardage needed.
They'll fake it on the jet sweep, and instead a handoff up the middle. And he'll get this up to about the 38-yard line. Here's Braden Mann now as he's on to punt for Philadelphia. It'll be a 47-yard punt with a net of 40 following a 7-yard return. The Browns now going to take over late in this first half. And Charles, you're down multiple scores, less than a minute left here. But with that deficit, they've got to try to at least work their way into field goal range to try to muster something out of this drive.
And I'm going to go ahead and date myself one more time because I'm going to quote an old Smokey and the Bandit lyric. They've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. But they still have time to get it done. So I'm looking forward to watching them mount this drive and see if they can get some points out of it.
And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. Now the Browns will use the first of their 3 timeouts as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half. This short pass into the hands of Njoku. Now the Browns signal for the second of their timeouts as they stop it here with just under 40 ticks to go in this first half. To throw is Watson. And that falls to the ground, incomplete. A nice job of bodying him up defensively, and now it brings up 3rd down. Watson looks to throw again. He had a man open, but he missed him, and it's incomplete.
Sometimes it's just not your day. There's another failure right there on third down.
Here's Corey Bojorquez now. Averaging 50 yards a boot so far as this one's away. And that'll hit at the 5 and go into the end zone for a touchback. Yeah, the Eagles going to get one final possession in this first half. And with a 3-score lead already, this is not time for a momentum change, so I'd imagine they'd be happy to just take this into the locker room. Pickett, he'll look to throw it. He'll get that complete to Alberto. And they'll get 8 out of this before being stopped at the 28. So we reach halftime in what's been a fairly one-sided game so far. As we'll send you down the coast now to Orlando, that's where we find Jonathan Coachman, ready with our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
All right, Brandon, thanks. A few teams starting to rise to the top as it's time to take you around the NFL here in Week 6. We'll start up in the Pacific Northwest at Lumen Field in Seattle. And as you see, they were winners back on Thursday night. Jackson Smith-Njigba, a touchdown catch in the victory. From there, we'll head down to the Big Easy. Check on the Saints at home at the Superdome. And they were winners in that one over the visiting Tampa Bay Bucks. Chris Olave, a touchdown catch in the victory. We just watched a very good first half out of quarterback Kenny Pickett. He's got a touchdown through the air as his guys have raced out to a gigantic early lead. This was an extremely one-sided first half. One team showed up, ready to go. The other's been in a daze thus far, but there's still plenty of time left for this one to tighten up significantly.
And he takes this near the 25. Just a little pass there. Call it the 26. Here's the Browns offense now getting set to start off this third quarter. And you have to think, Charles, down 3 scores already. They need to play an almost perfect second half to have a solid chance.
And that absolutely starts with finding some way to put together a touchdown drive here. They need to be smart, fast, efficient, get the ball to the end zone, and do it again multiple times in order to have a chance to win this game.
Here's a 2nd and 3 now from the 33. Watson now to throw. Looking for and finding Amari Cooper again. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line.
Amari Cooper. It's a gain of 10. First down, Cleveland.
On first down, they'll run with Chubb. And a good burst there gets him 7 up to midfield.
Well, no matter how they phrase it, staying on schedule, staying ahead of the sticks, whatever you want to call it, 7 yards on first down, that fits the bill.
They'll fake the handoff. Now Watson. This will be caught. Judy. And he has another first down as they'll get the ball down to the Eagles' 31-yard line. And now timeout is whistled as it appears there's a Brown shaken up on the play. Hopefully, obviously nothing serious here. Medical staff, though, going to take a peek, and we'll take a break. Faking the give. Now Watson. And he's going to go down here. A sack. They push him back to the 34. They'll wind up losing 3 there on the sack. Good pressure, and it's 2nd down. Back to throw, Watson. His throw incomplete.
And there's another stop. One of the league's best defenses is certainly bringing it again this week.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. He's going to look end zone here for Cooper. And that is incomplete. Oh, he had it and dropped it. That is an unforced error there, and it takes away what could have been a touchdown. Now Watson will step away, and out comes Cade York to handle this 4th down field goal try for the Browns. And that is no good. He gave it a good run. That wasn't more than a foot or so wide to the left.
Always disappointing when you miss a field goal, but when you're playing against a defense this good, you and I both know that's a crucial miss because you can't afford to leave any points out there. You've got to take them when you can.
So here are the Eagles now as they get set for their first possession of the second half.
First carry for Kenneth Gainwell.
And that one blown up quickly as he's going to be stopped before he could even get started. Call it a full 3 yards in the wrong direction there. Brings up second down.
And they'll stay on the ground with Gainwell again.
And able to get a couple as he's across the 40 to the 41.
Sometimes your philosophies get challenged at times you don't want them to. They did try to stick to the running game on the first 2 plays. Didn't amount to much.
And now facing a 3rd and long at the outset of this drive. Over the middle, and there's a diving catch. So the completion results there in 9 yards. And it'll be 4th down.
Well, that's just simply not right. To make that kind of a catch, that spectacular, and not get a first down out of
I
it.
guess he could put it on his personal highlight reel, however.
Yeah, he'll get the catch, he'll get the yardage, but he doesn't get what he really wants.
And a nice job here to down this one right on the 5-yard line.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. Defense.
This is one of the dangers of going for the punt block.
And you know before you even call going for the block, it's a risk-reward play. So many factors come into it. They went after it, and you know punters, what they do? They leave their leg up in the air an extra count or two, hoping someone comes into contact.
They run the option here on 1st and 10.
And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. 2nd and right at a yard.
A gain of 9 brings up 2nd and 1 at the 26-yard line.
Looking to throw, Pickett.
And he rifles one incomplete.
I didn't like the look of that play right from the beginning. I thought he should have seen the coverage that was there, tried to force it in. That one, he's fortunate, just fell incomplete.
And they'll try and run for it with Gainwell.
And the reinforcements come in as they're going to stop him behind the line.
And now a pause because we've got A.J. Brown dinged up on that last play, and they're going to have to get some medical attention to it. So Hurts is off, and on comes Jake Elliott for the Eagle field goal.
He hit his first. Now this one from 48 yards away. The kick by Elliott is good, and that will extend their lead even further.
So 3 more points tacked on, and this margin getting more comfortable by the minute.
And with the lead where it is, you can actually feel good about field goals. We talk all the time about scoring 6s, not 3s. But in this case, they're just looking to chew up some time and come away with points.
And he'll go down as this drive will start at the 25-yard line.
And now the Browns coming out on the field.
I kind of feel like they've reached a do-or-die point in this game, Charles. If they're going to try to pull off an impressive comeback, it has to start right here, right now.
Yeah, now they've got a final chance to get out of this situation, but they also understand they've got to move the ball and move it fast. In addition, they need to save as much time so they can get 2 more possessions.
Second down, here's Chubb again.
Shoves him aside and past the 40 before he's out of bounds.
64 yards on the ground for him now on 9 carries.
Despite the score, despite the deficit, no quitting this guy. He's running angry, running through arm tackles. He wants to change what that scoreboard is saying.
Here's Chubb on the read option. And this one not going anywhere. They get him at the 44 for a gain of just a yard. Well, now hang on here because he appears to be shaken up. So as the medical staff takes a look, we'll step aside.
Now Watson. Now they set up the screen. That's complete. Able to corral him right at the midfield stripe following that sparkling display of footwork we saw. And now timeout is whistled as it appears there's a Brown shaken up on the play. This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down.
From the 50, it's Watson. He's got his target. That's complete. And he has another first down as they'll get the ball down to the Eagles' 39. A strong pickup of 11 keeps their drive alive. And now he's really knocking on the door for 700. That is career catch 699. And now we've got flags down. Looked like one of the Browns might have moved. A false start backs him up 5, 1st and 15. They run with Ford. He gets it forward for 4, maybe 5, but the flags fly. And this one could be coming back. Joel Bitonio, one of the steals of the 14 draft, the culprit there. Back to throw. Watson. Oh, he'll air this one deep for Judy. And this one is incomplete.
The passing windows are just not there. And that's just another example of how great this defense has been all game long.
And that's exactly what a top 10 defense can do. They can really change the game tempo and frustrate you as you try to execute offensively.
They find some open field here. And they'll have it in the red zone before he crosses over out of bounds.
Now, during that run, an injury here. We got one of those big blockers in some discomfort. Well, now they're going to come out and take a look at this injury, and we'll be back in a moment. Again, they turn to Ford.
And he'll take it into the end zone for a Browns touchdown.
Jerome Ford, his second rushing touchdown on the year. And the Browns are able to make some inroads here to that deficit.
Well, solid blocking up front from the guys on the offensive line allowed him to get in for the touchdown.
Yeah, some might say that the guys on the offensive line were in concert. I used to have a coach who called it marrying up, meaning when you get on a guy, you just stay right there, and each guy has his own assignment. That allowed the runner to make the big move towards the end zone.
The Browns kicking team out there now as they'll send this one away.
And up to about the 26-yard line, just across the 25. The Eagles just about set to go to work on offense. Their lead down to 2 scores after the touchdown a moment ago as they start with a 1st and 10. Pickett back to throw.
And his throw here's incomplete.
Had an open man that time and ended up putting a little too much heat on it, don't you think, partner?
Absolutely. Just needed a touch more air under it. Instead, he fired an absolute bullet.
Pickett will look to throw it here.
This short throw caught by Goddard.
Well, following the play now, they're going to stop the clock here as a man is shaken up. While they come out and take a look at him, we will step aside for just a moment. Here comes 3rd down and 7. Pickett now from the gun here.
And he's taken down. This will be a Brown sack. It'll be a sack and a loss of 3, but more importantly, it brings up 4th down.
I think you saw the same thing that I did there, partner. Remember, he's their backup quarterback, so the last thing they need is to lose another one right here on the sack. Looks like he's going to be okay, though.
Yeah, he looked like he was favoring something in the left leg. Appears to be fine now, but you're right. That O-line, they got to protect him. And taken right on the 30. It's a 43-yard punt, a return of 5.
The Browns set to take over. The last time out, they had to march almost the full length of the field for their touchdown. So here, much easier, Charles, with this better starting field position.
I love your sarcasm, but I love even more your observation because, look, what they did last time out, now with a shorter field, they should have a lot of confidence that they're going to put more points up on the board.
And a good physical run that time. He's going to wind up gaining 5 on that one.
Ball at the 40 here for 2nd and 5.
And now we've got flags down. Looked like one of the Browns might have moved. The false start penalty, and now they're back to needing 10 yards on 2nd down. And again, it's Chubb.
And he will not make it back to the line of scrimmage with a flag down here to boot. So they may back up further. Now after the holding call, here's 2nd and 20. Following the penalty, Chubb. And he'll get up near the 45. They'll spot it at the 44.
89 yards rushing for him so far as his terrific season continues here.
They'll run for it. Here's Chubb shedding the tackle. And it was the stiff arm there that freed him enough to get the first before he's tackled. They give him 7 yards on the play, and they do pick up the conversion on 3rd down.
There are a lot of different formulas to winning football, but one constant over the years, winning on 3rd down. That pickup there was big because they had struggled throughout this one.
Now Chubb running right. 5 yards is the tally on 1st down. That brings up 2nd and 5.
Man, these guys may not win this ball game, but you certainly can't fault the effort of this man here today. He's been a real thorn in their sides all afternoon. And that last carry puts him over the 100-yard mark.
Quick throw, and he's got Amari Cooper.
5th catch of the afternoon, and that gives him a 1st down.
It's a gain of 6. 1st down, Browns.
Now it's Watson.
He'll get this complete to Tillman. Here's a 2nd and 8.
It's 2nd and 8 at the Eagles' 35-yard line.
Off of play action, it's Watson.
A quick throw there is incomplete.
A misconnection there. He's hit on just 50% of his passes thus far. That's not where you want to be.
Now you see the evolution of the game. You go back to the quarterbacks of old, 50% would be terrific because they threw the ball downfield almost every time they threw it. Now with the short passing game, you should be above 60% just to be in the average range.
Give him 8 yards that time on the scramble, and now 4th down.
That was a good effort there trying to do it on his own, but as a defender, you're in a tough spot because you have coverage responsibilities behind you, and if you take off too quick to try and get him down, he might loft it over your head.
So better to track with your man defensively than try to go up and make a stop on the quarterback.
Exactly right. What you're hoping is that your guys in the front 7 can get him down.
A gain on the play. 1st down, Cleveland.
Throw left side, he's got Tillman.
And he's out of bounds, almost gets to the 10. A good pickup there for the Browns, 15 yards.
And this is what they're going to need more of. It's the 3rd quarter. You're trailing. You've got to come out with a renewed sense of purpose, and that's a nice way to kick off the drive with good yardage and a 1st down.
And now we've got flags down. Looked like one of the Browns might have moved. A false start backs him up 5, 1st and 15. Here's Watson. He's going to be sacked back at the 23-yard line.
And now after that sack, we'll pause here a moment because someone was shaken up on that play. Now, the medical staff is going to come out here and take a look, and we will take a short break.
Well, they're in some hot water now. After that sack, it's 2nd and 21. They'll go left side on the ground with Chubb. Fights through him. He's a bulldozer. And so close, he gets it to the 1. Out of bounds right there. They'll come up now on a 2nd and long after the hold. They go up the middle with Chubb. And for one of the few times here today, this run's not going to go anywhere. Call it no gain there. They've got a ways to go now on 3rd down. Working out of the gun, Winston. And he is going to be taken down. And that should be the final play of this 3rd quarter. And the defense coming through on 3rd down, a loss of 7 to bring up 4th. And the attempt at 3 will have to come from the other end of the field as time has run out on this 3rd quarter. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. And welcome back. We are in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. It's the Browns with a deficit. They're trailing, but with the football here to start the fourth. And his kick is good. He got every bit of that one as it's good from 56 yards out. And that gets him back within 10. So he missed his first attempt, remember, but this time he gets back on the bike and knocks it home.
Yeah, and sometimes that first one can really impact you moving forward. It can just stay with you too long and affect everything else you do during the game. In this case, though, able to shake it off. He's riding high again.
So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33.
Back to throw, Pickett. That ball caught by his rookie wideout.
And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain.
Ball on the 40 now. Here's 2nd down and 3.
At the 40-yard line.
Working out of the gun, it's Pickett. Throw out wide is incomplete.
Well, he left no doubt about that one because even though he hasn't left the pocket, he's got a receiver in the area, so it's not grounding, even though there was no way that ball was going to be caught.
Pickett. He's got his running back out of the backfield. And he is going to have an Eagles first down as they convert on 3rd and 3 with a nice gain of 7 yards.
First down. 1st and 10 at the 47-yard line.
Going in motion left, that's Campbell. Here's a fake on the jet sweep, and instead a give up the middle. And a good push there defensively as they stop him at the 48. Gain of just 1. 2nd and 9.
Brings up 2nd and 9.
Again, a run with Gainwell.
Broken tackle. And he's going to take this across the 50 into Browns territory. And he's able to get most of what he needed on the carry there. 7 yards on the gain, and it's 3rd and 2 now.
3rd and 2.
They run behind center with Gainwell.
And he's got the first down yardage before he's brought down at the 42.
Holding offense.
Still needing 10 yards. Now it's 3rd down. Here's Pickett.
And he'll just toss it away. So he throws it away, and that brings up 4th down. Critical play in this football game because if they pick up the first there, that clock keeps rolling.
Has to be a little frustrating for them because they know that if they pick up a first down there and continue to eat away at the clock, really increases their chances of closing this one out. Now they're likely going to have to give the football up and sweat it out on the sideline.
Well, on that punt, we've got a man shaken up. The medical staff will attend to him, and we will step aside. Watson and the Browns now with a 1st and 10
at their own 24.
He'll start things off with a handoff to Chubb.
And he'll take it forward for about 5 up to the 28-yard line.
Oh, that was a thing of beauty right there. Look at how quick those blockers fired off the line once the ball was snapped. That was an O-line on a mission, all in sync, and the defense is lucky that play only picked up 5 yards.
And his throw's going to be incomplete.
I think he could have scanned downfield forever, but there wasn't anything available. Ends up throwing an incompletion, and I think he'll take that.
To throw is Watson. This short pass into the hands of Njoku. And he'll be out of bounds across the 30-yard line. Call it a gain of 3 on the play. And that's going to make it 4th down. The Browns send out their punter now. He's been terrific so far. It's a return of 5 following a punt of 42 yards. And the Eagles will have it taking over 1st and 10. Philadelphia getting set to take the field. Now, there are 2 scores on the plus side. Still time here in this 4th quarter, but maybe you start thinking about playing keep away?
Yeah, I think here's the situation. You're not thinking touchdowns anymore. You're just thinking first downs. To keep up with your theme there, playing keep away, first downs, they can't touch the ball.
Successful start to the drive, 17 yards, and moves the sticks.
Well, it may seem a little unorthodox to some people. Got the lead, fourth quarter, yet he's still firing away. I think he believes that's the best way to go ahead and win the game.
Yeah, a lot of coaches say, let's just run the football, be conservative. He's sticking to his game plan.
No, that is his game, and that's what they're going to ride.
Pickett, he'll look to throw it.
And his throw here is going to be incomplete. Looked like he had a couple of different options as far as who to throw to on that play. And who am I to say this, but I'm not sure he made the right decision.
Well, the window of opportunity is always going to be small in the NFL. That's why those quarterbacks who make quick decisions and have quick releases have the most success in this league.
And down he goes at the 49, a 3-yard pickup.
So 7 yards from the first down here as they come up to the line of scrimmage. Now Pickett. Oh, he had him. He was open, but he couldn't get it to him. It's incomplete.
Well, he certainly thought he had an open look beyond the first down marker to his receiver, but they just couldn't connect, and that will send them back to the drawing board.
On is the punter man as he boots this one away.
And this one will not be returnable as it sails out of bounds.
The visitors' offense and their running back getting set to go once more. And he has put in a full game's work and then some. Just an incredible performance on the ground to this point in the fourth quarter.
The Cleveland offense ready to go.
Their defense was able to force the punt. That's the good news. But this is still a 2-score game, and they need points on this drive and in a relatively quick manner.
6 yards there on the keeper. It's second down. Here's Watson.
A throw on the run, but that's going to be incomplete.
Nowadays, quarterbacks don't mind throwing into coverage because of the confidence they have in their receivers to come down with the ball. But sometimes you have to be careful you don't get too confident and throw an interception.
And he can't get rid of it. He's taken down. It'll be a sack and a loss of 3, but more importantly, it brings up fourth down. The Browns send out their punter now as he's on here to punt it away. That's strong running. Just a 2-yard return there following a punt of 48. The Eagles offense now, they head back on the field.
They've got a chance now to put this game away following that last defensive stop and punt.
Throwing to start the drive. Pickett.
And that went too far in front. He couldn't reel it in. It's incomplete. Here's 2nd and 10.
2nd and 10 at the 22-yard line.
Looking to throw. Pickett.
Setting up the screen with Gainwell.
They do get a couple, but they'll be left staring at a 3rd and 8 coming up.
Good reactions there defensively. That screen was...
And he will not make it back to the line of scrimmage as he's going to be taken down. It'll go in the books as a sack and a loss of a yard, but more importantly, it leads to fourth down.
This is a little hard for me to compute because I'm watching sack after sack happen, but somehow they're still behind in the game. I would expect all of this defensive pressure to translate to them taking a lead, and thus far, it hasn't happened. Time's winding down. They don't want to waste this type of performance from these ace pass rushers.
So possession goes over here on the punt, and the Browns will take over 1st and 10.
Watson and the Browns now with a 1st and 10.
At about the 32. They'll try and start this drive in the air. And that one incomplete, but now a penalty flag coming in late. That might be PI.
Defense.
Trying to defend the out route there, got the PI call.
And you know what's difficult about that one is sometimes you want to make the undercut move and go for the football, and other times you just want to hang on the upfield shoulder and make the tackle. I think he got caught in between and created a foul.
And he gets this to the other side of midfield across the 45 before going out.
An unfortunate time for the penalty there. That cancels out a positive play from this offense.
Well, not to sound too trite or too accepting, but you and I both know it happens. You got to accept it and move on. Yardage you got to get back. Focus on the next play. Move on.
The tackle by Nakobe Dean. A good position to be in here, 2nd and inches. Here's Chubb on the read option.
And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line.
The heavy set out there. 3 tight ends in the formation for 3rd and 3.
And now we've got flags down. Looked like one of the Browns might have moved. Now after the false start, they need 8 yards here on 3rd down. Watson now to throw.
That is caught.
Evades the tackler, and now some space. And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds. That'll move the sticks for the Browns, a gain of 12.
Well, every drive from here out is definitely crucial and critical. They know that they need to get at least 3 here to get it back to a one-score game. But I can't imagine that in their huddle that they're thinking at all about getting a field goal. They want to get into the end zone and then try and get the ball back again.
Watson. This short pass into the hands of Njoku. It'll go as a gain of 4, and it'll be 2nd down.
Completion was given up, but that's why you play zone defense, so that you can have people around the ball when it's caught, and you don't give up much run after the catch.
But in the end, the pressure too great, and he goes down.
Well, this is getting ridiculous. 8 sacks now. That time multiple guys get to it. Following that sack, Watson and the Browns backed up for a 3rd and long.
They'll drop to throw. And that will be incomplete.
Certainly looked like someone was very confident in his ability to fit that one in. I would say he was overconfident because there wasn't a whole lot of separation there. Had that one covered pretty well downfield and knocked it away.
Able to find the open man. That's complete. And he's going to pick up the Browns' 1st down. And that was something else. A big pickup on 4th and long to give him a new set of downs.
And he's going to be taken down. Pressure gets there back at the 39-yard line. Watson off play action. And that is taken in by Njoku. And he has another 1st down as they'll get the ball down to the Eagles' 21. Back to throw, Watson.
A throw left sideline falls incomplete.
It sort of looks like they still have some fight in them on this series because it seemed like things were headed for the red zone. But if this defense gets 2 more stops, they can keep them out of that area. Well, it certainly appears to me that the defensive guys are starting to look a little bit tired while he still has some fresh legs. Not the biggest gain we've seen on a scramble, but still some positive yardage on a play that initially looked like a sure win for the defense.
Well, you don't have to beg the Philly faithful to make noise. On their feet for 3rd down.
Touchdown! David Njoku, an 18-yard touchdown grab.
And the Browns have made it a one-score game again here in the 4th.
I'm not sure win-win is the proper term here, but it certainly felt like it. They got the touchdown they needed, but if I'm on the defensive side of the ball, okay, you got the touchdown, but it sure took you a long time.
Yeah, because offensively, there, you're probably hoping for a 1 to 5 play drive. That one ate up a little more time than they were hoping.
You're exactly right, and if you have that 1 to 5 play drive, you actually build up momentum and even more hope. When they had to slog their way downfield, they got the touchdown, but it's almost like, yeah, you know,
doesn't feel right.
Exactly.
And a decent return out to the 27-yard line. Philadelphia's offense ready to give us another look.
And this game not quite over yet. And we'll likely see them take all 3 timeouts defensively, so they can't just kneel this one out. They're going to have to try to run a few plays.
You're exactly right. They've got to get a 1st down and make them use up all their timeouts in order to feel like they have this one in hand.
Now the Browns will use the first of their 3 timeouts as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming 2nd down play.
He's going to get it again. Just looking to get forward and protect the ball.
Now the Browns signal for the 2nd of their timeouts as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next.
Pickett back to throw. He's got his target. That's complete.
The Browns will quickly use their third and final timeout. And they'll be disappointed to have to burn one there after giving up the first down. And they take a knee.
Straight ahead, it's Gainwell. And that should do it. He's got a first down. And the Eagles, they can run it out from here.
And now timeout is whistled as it appears there's a Brown shaken up on the play. And they'll indeed take a knee.
Pickett down to a knee, and that is going to do it.
So fly, Eagles, fly. It's a victory for Philadelphia. And it was a game where they got out to a pretty good size lead, and then they had to hang on for dear life at the end.
Not exactly how you would draw it up. You would continue to score and find ways to keep your lead pretty well throughout the game. But they did find a way to win, as you noted. Hung on at the end as the big rush came at them. Fortunately enough, they put enough points on the board to have enough of a cushion that they're able to survive what happened in the fourth quarter.
So for the Eagles, they move a step closer to 500 as their record improves to 2-3. And they will hit the road next week to take on the New York Giants. Meanwhile, for Cleveland, the losses are piling up as they drop to 1-5 now. And they'll get a chance to redeem themselves at home next week. And for Charles Davis and our entire crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL on EA Sports.